Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. It's been a while. Have you forgotten about me? I think you probably have. Subscriber count dropping like a stone. But hey, what can you expect? If you're not putting out any content, people are going to get bored, right? And they don't want to know what you're talking about. So I thought I'd just remind everyone, I'm still here. I'm still around. And I will be coming back with some content during the course of the season, this season. But I've taken a well-earned rest from the stress of trying to make sure that you're putting something out on a regular basis, just to keep myself away from it. Been all through watching the Euros and all that sort of stuff. Decided not to talk about that because I didn't want to get caught up in all the hype and everything around it. Just really wanted to talk about Tottenham and what's happening with Tottenham. And a fair few things have been going on, obviously, with the pre-season tour going on and the wins that we've been having from that point of view. And a few outgoings have occurred. Some of the players that we was happy to see go for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly. We've seen them exit. Latest one being Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, who sometimes unfairly gets criticised, but was always the one that there was a mistake in him. It was going to happen. But you could never doubt his commitment and his effort to the cause. And I think in time he will be remembered fondly as a player who really gave everything that he could for the club, even though he may not have been the best of the best that we would have wanted. So the transfer market is chugging along, not what we were as fans would want. We're keen to see the big names or the known names come flooding through the door nice and early, so that we can bed them into the squad, early on and get the momentum going and all this of it. Clearly, that's not happening. But to be fair, I've kind of had a little poke around about every other club, and it doesn't seem like there's an awful lot of business going on at all at the moment. And I think that's probably more to do with the financial situation that a lot of clubs are finding themselves in, and being tempted to splash the cash or whatever. They probably wanted to sell players before they buy players, know who's available, who's not available, and so on. And you end up with this domino effect. You only need kind of one or two big players to move from one club to another to kind of start the ball rolling, where someone will go, okay, well, if this one's moving to there, we're going to need to replace that one. So then we'll go to them, and they'll... and one big player leads to three or four, lesser players maybe, that then gives another big player, and it all kind of filters down. So it looks to me like we're not really out of step with anybody else, as disappointing as that may be. We have had a couple of players come in. We've got young Archie Gray has joined us, who I know absolutely nothing about, so I never profess to be an in the know or a person who you can kind of listen to that talks about how good a player's going to be for the club. I don't know until they come. What I do know is that if you're paying £40 million for a young lad, the likelihood is they're coming in to be in the team. It doesn't strike me as the sort of player you're buying to loan out, for instance. I might be wrong, but we'll see. But from what I understand and from what I've seen so far, very versatile young man, very confident, and being called out as a very, very good prospect, along with Bergval as well, who's come in, which we knew about. So that's kind of breathing a little bit of life into it. I mean, then we also see an awful lot of the younger players getting into the pre-season and playing games, whether that's to showcase them, whether that's to just give them experience, whether that's even just to give Ange a good look at them to see how they're progressing. Only Ange and the club really know about that, and time will tell. We've got the young lad coming from Korea as well, whose name I can't pronounce yet. So I'm not gonna go on about that. But it looks like we are building a team for the future, which you've got to do. You know, you can't afford to just look at the squad for now. You've got to look at it in the longer term. But as a fan, for me, I stick by what I said at the end of the season, last season, that we absolutely, desperately need a striker, an out-and-out striker, someone who's gonna score us the goals that we've lost through losing Harry Kane. Richarlison, he's there, doesn't seem to be moving on. There's lots of talk about it, but we don't know what's going on that. Personally, I think he's one that I would keep hold of, but we need to add to. I don't believe that Vilis is the answer, because he's obviously gone out on loan. So I don't know what's going on there. But then you have got the young guys coming through. This Will Lancashire, who everyone is raving about. Maybe he's going to be a backup. Maybe he's going to come into the squad. You've still got Scarlett, who everyone thinks has got a big future. At some point, they've got to break into that first team and be trusted to be the main man. Is that the plan? I don't know. But for me personally, I desperately would love to see a striker come in. I think it's the one position that is desperately short from what I saw from last season, depending on what the plan is for these youngsters I've just talked about. But for me, that striking position is one I desperately like to see filled. On top of that, of course, I think the Maddison backup, who's going to provide the ingenuity and that bit of flair in the middle there, who's going to do that. That for me, I think is another one. If Maddison's not there, who's going to provide that? So then obviously you've got the talk of Eze coming in. Maybe that's an option. I don't know if we're likely to break the bank and do that. Again, we don't know. And the other one for me was the left wing back, because obviously if Destiny's available, then he's playing. But if Destiny's not available, what's happening there? Are we likely to use Van der Ven in that position? I know we've still got Davis there. But obviously he's not everybody's favourite. People are always put him in the kind of same bracket as I don't know, players like Emerson Royale or Dyer and all these players that need to move on. I personally think that's a little bit unfair on him. I honestly don't feel that he is a bad option in defence. He was always reliable. He always does a job for you. He's not Destiny Udogie for definite, and for me that's where it kind of falls down. But can he come in? Maybe he goes to the left side of the centre backs for Van der Ven to move over and support from there. I don't know. It worked, but whether that's what Ange wants, I don't know. But for me, I would really like to see someone who's gonna fill in that position to the same level, maybe, that Udogie has come across as. Again, young lad, so it doesn't seem like Ange is worried about the age of players. If they're good enough, they're old enough. So for me, those are the three areas where I worry the most, if I'm honest. But for me, again, if we can get a striker in, then for me, I think that's good business, depending on what he's going to do with some of these youngsters. Like I say, Archie Gray's been playing as a centre-back, for instance, and I think, is it Donnelly, I think, has played at left-sided, a wing-back kind of thing. So maybe that is the option. You just don't know. You just don't know what's going on in his head. But it's certainly areas that need strengthening. I guess the other key one is around the right wing back, with Emerson Royal being linked with a move away, which looks likely to happen. That kind of opens the door then, who is going into that position. And of course, we have seen a little bit of an emergence of Jed Spence, which would be amazing if Jed Spence could actually nail down a spot in the squad and play from time to time, because I think he is quality. He has got quality. The issue has always been suspect around his attitude. But we don't know what that means. Like, I've no idea what that means. You know, has he got a bad attitude? Does he just clash with the manager? Does he clash with the coaching staff? Can he integrate with the squad? Can he get on with the other players? Can he be trusted? That, you know, there's all lots of big questions in there. But he's an undoubted talent and a young player and English, which helps the homegrown quota. So I guess we won't know the outcome of any of these questions until the start of the season and the transfer window closing. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I for one, I'm still excited about the season, because I'm always excited about the season starting, because I love my club, and I love to see us play, even though it's frustrating at times and we get annoyed and upset about how it goes and that. But that's the passion of football, right? We're all mad about our club and want us to see them do well. But whoever the players are, we'll just have to support those players and see what happens until the end of the season. Me personally, I'm hoping for, you know, a really good run in maybe in the Europa and in the Cups and so on. And if we can push on and get into the Champions League, great. But again, I'm not adverse to us being in Europa again next season if we don't win it this season. You know, but you've got to back yourself to want to be in and around those competitions to get across the line. And it might be difficult if we are trusting young players. But listen, who was concerned when we brought in this young lad, Van der Ven? We was all concerned. How good is he going to be? Is he going to be good enough? He's just a young kid, same as Udogie, a young kid. We were, concerned about whether he was going to be good enough. And he proved that he was. Yeah, okay, he's raw. Yeah, okay, he's made a couple of mistakes during the course of the season. But overall, I think he's been a standout player for us and proves that you can come into the team if you're good enough. It doesn't matter about how old you are, if you've got the right attitude and you've got the right attributes. And I think that's the key thing. And I think that's the thing that kind of sticks with me with Ange Postecoglou, is he wants the right player, not just any player. You can buy loads of players, but if the players are not good enough, or they're not got the right attitude, or they can't play the way you want them to, then you're wasting your money. And I always felt that this window would be a lot to do with players you're getting out as opposed to all the players you're getting in. But if we can pick up Eze, for instance, I think that would be a really good bit of business and really kind of push us on and kind of stake our claim as that we are serious. But I still do worry about the striking options, depending on how these young kids are doing. They're scoring for fun in the pre-season, but this is pre-season, right? Hearts, QPR, a Japanese team, Korean team. You can't really stake their claim based on that, but what you can see is their development, and I think that's the interesting thing. So anyway, yeah. So first video of the season. I will be talking about the games and so on as I have been doing. Hope you've not missed me too much. I hope you're happy to see me back and like and comment on this video so that I can interact with you all again. I'm actually away at the moment. I'm actually away from home. I'm staying in a hotel in Manchester. I don't know if you'll be able to see out my dirty windows as I've got the canal outside of Manchester. A very nice view. The windows are absolutely filthy, mind. But, it's a nice hotel. So, and I've had a nice bit of food last night, a couple of drinks. But yeah, I'm in Manchester today. We're going home this evening. So, been a busy time work-wise and stuff. So that's having this time off from commenting has been quite useful as well. So, but anyway, listen, thanks for watching. If you've watched this video, please think about giving it a thumbs up. Always give me a comment. I read all comments and I respond to majority of comments depending on if I've already answered the question. Hoping to maybe do a little bit more video stuff over the coming season, talking to some of my friends who go to games and stuff as well, getting them on and kind of having a chat with them and getting their views and stuff. So maybe that'll work, maybe it won't. I'm not sure if I'm much of a host on videos as opposed to just giving my own comments. But we'll see. You know, we'll have a go and we'll gauge the feedback and go from there. But as I say, thanks for watching. Sorry to ramble on, and I'll see you in the next one. Up the Spurs.